What's up, everybody? Yeah, so we turned on the camera and we got rid of the profile picture. Let me know if you actually want to see me talk when I do these things or if the profile picture is much better. But anyway, I'm Simon from W3MCT. Before we get into some of these amazing tools I built out for you guys, let's go over what's going on in the news today, right? Because we have some new information that's going on, that's happening, and let's check it out. It's December 19th, it's 2025, and now let's get you the latest Web3 and crypto news. So, Bitcoin, is it primed for a 2026 breakout? Analysis weigh history versus fundamentals. Bitcoin's in oversold RSI signals. It's potentially rally to 170K. Right now, it feels kind of unlikely. Analysts argue as record ETF inflows and faded headwinds build a bullish case. However, it wasn't that long ago we just said that the outflows of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin related ETFs have been extremely high in the last 3 months. Bitcoin's down, right? Roughly in the last 3 months, about 25%. So, is it time for a reversal? Who knows? But CoinDesk 20 performance update, right? Index jumps 4.6% as all constituents trade higher. Constituents trade higher. Wow. Sorry. Who knows about what's going on with my, it's a coffee. Okay. So Poland's lower house approves crypto law again, sends a vetoed bill back to the Senate. I don't know what's going on with Poland, but oh man, some more regulation and policy. Kind of boring, but we still need to know about this information, right? So there's a re-litigating the Genius Act. Genius, right? Act brings risk and no rewards. Oh, of course, right? Delay. Not surprised, are you? Nah. We're Bitcoiners. We're crypto heads. We're Web3, right? We're the blockchain. We're the internet. We deal with volatility of up and down emotions on a daily basis, right? So you should be used to this by now. And if you're not, well, get used to it. But anyway, so this bipartisan agreements like the Genius Act, because it's genius, I guess, can be immediately reopened whenever an incumbent, what is going on with my reading industry dislikes their competitive implications. Legislative compromise becomes impossible, argues Blockchain Association CEO Summer Mersinger. Yeah, whatever. Listen, they're going to be going back and forth with this. It's the end of the year. It's the holiday season. No one wants to really do this right now. Let's just cut to the chase. Everyone wants to take a break. This volatility around this year has been crazy with inflation and tariffs and interest rate and the inconsistency in the market, up and down, and prices going up and down, right? Everyone's just trying to find their center. And honestly, coming up to the end of the year and the holiday season, at least for the United States, right? Everyone's saying, you know what? Let's just wait till January. And so the Morning Minute with Coinbase wants to be the everything exchange, the super app. You may hear and you may see people talking like this on the internet. Coinbase just announced years of product launches in a single evening. Will it be enough to close the gap with Robinhood? Hey, I mean, look, Coinbase has a decent amount of activity, and obviously they have a lot of connections. I'm gonna go over to the W3 data section of the page real quick because I wanted to show you this. If we go over to W3 data page and you go to the centralized exchange tab, we populated this information for you. Let's go ahead and refresh it so it's the most accurate, as you can see. So the top centralized exchanges, at least by the 24-hour volume, is Binance, Bitmart, Bybit, LBank, and Wix. So these exchanges here by the 24-hour volume, you can see Coinbase is not up there. Now, that doesn't mean they're not here. Okay, and they're not even on the top 10 when it comes to the weekly visits. So you may say, well, some of these other platforms, are they really centralized exchanges? Yes, they are. And Coinbase has a lot of work to do, right? You're talking about they're competing with Binance. Binance does about 9.7 million weekly visits. All right. It has about 15 billion in the 24-hour volume. I mean, look at this huge difference, right? Bitmart, 4 billion. Okay, Bybit about 4 billion, Wix about 4 billion. Really, you know, a 4x essentially, 3x, four or 3.5x than everybody else that's really going on right now. 2,250 markets, and they have access to 606 coins. And those 606 coins, tokens rather, that they're giving you access to is plenty enough to give you a lot of volume. So everyone that has all these 2,000, 1,000, all these extra tokens, is it even necessary to do all of that, right? So that's going to be something we're going to be looking into in the future. And yeah, we don't see Coinbase on this list because, well, they haven't made it past more than 3 million when it comes to weekly visits. They just hit the cutoff for the top 10. I may include this and do an update and turn it to the top 15 to help Coinbase at least get on the list. But last time I looked at the data, it was about 3 million weekly visits, which Binance is 3 times of that, right? So they have a lot of work to do to establish at least if they want a global market share, or if they're just going to focus on the US, but the US still has a lot of work to do ourselves when it comes to this. So we do have this mining section here. I can't wait to share with you guys. We're going to go over this in a few, but until then, let's get back to the news. So we went over Coinbase, right? So what's going on with this quantum stuff? Because we're hearing a lot of people starting a bit more concerned about this quantum threat and around quantum computers. Blockchains quietly prepare for quantum threat as Bitcoin debates timeline. These altcoin blockchains are preparing for long-term quantum risk, while influential Bitcoin voices disagree over how and when it should be addressed. We're not there yet, okay? I mean, look, I'm not saying quantum is not going to be amazing, but let me tell you why it's not going to matter. And by the time you think it will matter, I'm going to show you some data that might help you put at ease. But let's just kind of put this. There's only a select few of corporations that would actually have the capacity and the finances and the equipment to even potentially create a quantum threat, right? A quantum computer requires to run efficiently in sub-zero temperatures. A facility running in sub-zero temperatures, right? That's not easy. So you can say, well, Antarctica, how many corporations are out there? Who knows? You can say, well, maybe they built out a sub-zero facility. Well, you can kind of check that on the map, and to get that type of equipment, there's only certain people that may have access to it or the funds to even do it. And quantum computers are massive right now. Yes, they're trying to make them smaller, but it's not something where I'm super concerned, at least from the hardware and infrastructure side and the accessibility. It's a small percentage that no matter what, people are focused on. It's easily to just track who is going to be in that space when it comes to quantum. But besides that, let's go over back to W3 data because I want to show you something about the mining, okay? Because this is important when it comes to blockchain technology and this ecosystem, right? So you see the network hash rate, all right, at 1,000 exahash. The difficulty is 148 trillion. It's a ridiculous number, okay? The current price of Bitcoin we see, and then the current block reward is 3.125 Bitcoin. So this is the next difficulty adjustment. You can see the adjustment has gone up a little bit there, and then the time remaining and the remaining blocks. And so I want to show you this because the network hash rate, all right, let me just show you this. So we're going to go over to our live blockchain data and analytics AI agent, known as ChatGPT, available here at W3MCT. And we're going to say, hey, can you help us understand the Bitcoin? Can you help me understand the Bitcoin quantum threat? No, I spelled that wrong. And how the network difficulty increasing will correlate. So let's see what our AI agent comes up with. So while that's loading and while GPT is thinking, oh wait, here we go. So let's see what we found out. All right, let's find out to see if this is somewhat relevant. Okay, stop. All right, you're still talking. You're still going. Still going. Are you done yet? You're done yet? Okay, great. Can I scroll up, please? Wow, you got a lot to say. Thank you, ChangeGPT. You are super. All right, thank you very much. All right, so we have a great Bitcoin quantum threat explained. So let's break this down and this complex topic into simple terms. All right, what is the quantum threat? Classic computers versus quantum computers, right? The computer processes information in bits, 0 or 1. Quantum computers use these things called qubits, right? And it can be 0, 1, or both. And really what that means at one time, it can create high probable outcomes at the same time, right? So just constantly you have multiple solutions of probability by probability of, if this thing happens, how many other things can possibly occur or react from this, right? From this one causation, or what is the possible outcomes. And so with computers, it's like we can focus on this outcome, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. Whereas quantum says, we have a problem, we can think of all the solutions of the problem at the same time. All right, so that's where you see the 0, 1, or both. And so this lets them try millions of solutions simultaneously. Now, how could this be a threat for Bitcoin? So Bitcoin's current security, because we need to understand the security and we need to understand the potential vulnerabilities before we can say if it's a threat and then how big of a threat it is, right? So the current security for Bitcoin is, number one, you have these things called private keys. They're protected by the ECDSA cryptography. What does that mean? Well, you would take classic computers and billions of years to take, right? It would take a really long time for the current CPU infrastructure, GPUs, right, to actually try to crack Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin has never been hacked right now, up until today. It's just like Litecoin. You can't say that about other chains, right? Other chains have had issues, but Bitcoin and Litecoin are one of the two chains that's been around since 2009, 2010, that's never been hacked and provide extreme amount of security, and it's a great blockchain. Litecoin actually is recognized by the CTFC, and it's a digital commodity. But anyway, so the addresses are protected by what is called the SHA-256, right? And the IP EMD-160 hashing. So this creates your Bitcoin address from your public key. And mining also uses the SHA-256 for proof of work, right? And it's currently secured by 1,033 exahash per second of computational power, of computing power. So the two main quantum threats, all right? The bigger threat is going to be around address and wallet security. So this is not about blockchain, okay? This is not about Bitcoin network, okay? This is going to be a concern for the address and wallet security. And this is why at W3MCT, we're focused on digital asset security, securing infrastructure, and educating the individual and enterprise businesses, investors, founders, developers, whoever is in this space, that we need to get ahead, and we really need to get people to understand the importance of wallet security and address security. And I get it. Everyone wants to make it easier with email address and getting rid of the seed phrase and not really talking about self-custody, because it may be confusing to a lot of people. No one wants to deal with that, and everybody just wants to be, TikTok, click. But yeah, you can do that, right? And if you lose your money because of poor not having the knowledge, essentially, there's no one there to save you. And so let's just get ahead of this, because like I say to our community, we ask them one simple question. Do you think the future is going to be more digital or less digital? If you think the future is going to be more digital, it would be to your advantage to learn about this today. And so let's continue, right? So quantum computers could potentially crack this private keys, okay? This would let attackers steal Bitcoin from wallets, right? So this is not breaking the network, but this is a threat and a potential vulnerability for all, for people that are not taking the right steps to protect themselves when it comes to wallet security. And however, the timeline for this before it becomes possible, we're talking about 15 to 30 years. Okay, so we have a lot of time essentially, but also a short time frame in the grand macro scheme of things. But from an individual perspective, you got plenty of time to prepare, and it's better to get on this now ahead before 10 years later you're like, hey, I made some money and now I don't know how to secure my tokens. The next thing, which is important as well when it comes to the quantum threat, is the mining security, right? It's a little bit of smaller threat. So theoretically, quantum computers could mine Bitcoin faster, okay? But they'd compete against these specialized ASIC miners, the application specific integrated circuit miners. These are specific computers built to secure and mine the Bitcoin network. And so in reality, quantum advantage in mining is still questionable. Now, if they came out with some quantum ASIC miners, that would be something amazing, but that still would also increase the network difficulty of it. So as you increase the computational power and the network hash rate and the difficulty increases, right? That's what this was always about. Okay, so will there ever be a computational power stronger than the network difficulty? I don't know. I really don't know if that is even possible, because if we are 15 years down the line, or we're at the point where they're making quantum ASIC miners, okay, to replace the current ones, or if they even have quantum capabilities, I would hope the mining companies are focusing on, and the engineers and the mining corporations, are they focused on quantum ASIC miners? Is that even a thing? Is that even a possibility? Maybe with these new NVIDIA chips, or I don't know, right? I have to look and do some more research into that. I'm actually kind of geeking out a little bit just thinking about it, because that would be really cool. If you guys want a deep research analysis on the potential of quantum ASIC miners, let me know in the comment section if you want me to go into that and share some information with you. So the network difficulty and quantum correlation. So here's current Bitcoin network strength. I gotta go take a little sip of the cough. All right, so the network difficulty, we're at a 148 teratillion. I mean, it's like, how hard is it to mine a block right now? It's really difficult, okay? I'm not gonna, you don't even know what the number means, but who cares? It's difficult, okay? And the total computing power securing a network is 1033 exahash. That's a lot. I know you don't know what that means, but basically it's saying security level extremely high. It would take more energy than entire countries use. Okay, so security is kind of doing quite well. Now, why difficulty won't correlate much with the quantum threat? Interesting, let's find out. So, the different attack vectors. Quantum computers threaten cryptography keys. Mining difficulty protects against brute force mining. So these are separate security layers. Now, the Bitcoin's adaptive defense, right? Network difficulty adjusts every 2 weeks. That's 2016 blocks. And that's what I was showing you before. We'll go back to this when we get out. I can show you again. But if quantum miners joined, wow, look at that. I didn't even read ahead. I want you guys to notice. I didn't even read ahead at all. Okay. And we came up with the same analysis here. So whatever, who cares? But I do a little bit, See what I'm saying? AI, you ain't beating me, bro. You ain't beating me. I'm ahead. I'm already ahead of you. AI, you better catch up. Anyway, fighting with the computer. Quantum miners, this coffee is pretty good. If quantum miners join, difficulty would increase automatically. That's what I said. So this maintains the 10-minute block times regardless. Now, the last one, quantum mining reality check. So current quantum computers are fragile and they're error prone. Yeah, because we haven't really figured it out. And ASIC miners are incredibly specialized for SHA-256. So the quantum advantage in mining is still theoretical and basically pretty distant. So short term, the next 10 years, most Bitcoin addresses are safe. Unused addresses are quantum resistant, and only addresses that have sent transactions expose public keys. In the long term, solutions being developed, well, we have post quantum cryptography. So, this is going to be new mathematical approaches to quantum computers can't break. We're going to see the Schnorr's signatures, which is already implemented for more quantum resistant, and the solve for capability. Bitcoin can upgrade its cryptography without breaking. That still needs consensus, and we don't know if that would ever even happen, but the capability is there. So what does this mean for you? Practical takeaways. Wow. Timeline, quick recap, 15 to 30 years before a real threat. Okay, current risk, essentially zero. Defense, Bitcoin developers are actively preparing. Network strength continues growing, difficulty at all-time high. Bottom line, the quantum threat is real but is distant, and Bitcoin has time and the ability to adapt. So use fresh addresses for each transaction. Keep most Bitcoin in cold storage, and we're going to go over wallet security and cold storage in our next video. We have a workshop coming in that will be uploaded after this. So don't worry about quantum computers yet. Stay informed about Bitcoin upgrades. The quantum threat is like climate change for cryptography. Real, important to plan for, but not an immediate panic situation. Bitcoin's adaptive nature and the development community's awareness make it well positioned to evolve when needed. So if I'm thinking about this, I know there are other of my peers that are also thinking about this as well. And thanks to Chain GPT for your quantum threat explanation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. We will have more videos coming out for you. Not only will you have the most informed, up-to-date, and accurate information when it comes to Web3 blockchain and everything inside the crypto ecosystem, but at the same time, you'll have an opportunity to work with us if you're looking to improve or enhance your skill sets, your knowledge, skills, and abilities when it comes to this innovative tech. My name is Simon from W3MCT. I am the founder and CTO, CEO of everything here at W3MCT. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a great day.